He raped me. He threatened to kill me if I spoke. The man she accused? Derrick Tate, 32 years old, a quiet janitor, no criminal record, dead in a jail cell within 24 hours. But here's the thing, none of it ever happened. Not the assault, not the threat. This is a story of how one lie, one viral accusation, destroyed a man, and no one saw the truth until it was too late. It started in a quiet suburb of Springfield, Illinois, not the kind of place you'd expect to find a crime that could derail a community. Church on Sundays, backyard barbecues, a Starbucks on every corner. Chloe Morris looked like she belonged on the cover of a teen drama magazine. Bright green eyes, strawberry blonde hair, and a voice that always sounded like it was about to crack into tears. She was a sophomore at St. Helene College, majoring in psychology, honor student. R.A. She posted Bible verses on Instagram, but also the occasional mirror selfie. Basically, she was relatable, someone girls wanted to be, and guys didn't want to make cry. So when she ran into the police station at 2:43 a.m. on March 3rd, barefoot, sobbing, clutching her phone like a lifeline, people believed her. She said Derrick Tate, the night janitor at the campus dorm where she lived, had followed her to the laundry room and raped her, held her down, covered her mouth, threatened to kill her if she screamed. And then, according to her, he just walked out, like nothing had happened. Let's talk about Derrick, because this is where it starts to get messy. Derrick Tate was exactly the kind of person people ignore. Worked late hours, lived alone, fixed vending machines in his spare time. He had an old Dodge Caravan that always smelled like pine sol, and a dog named Baxter who meant more to him than any human ever had. His co-workers said he was shy but kind, never raised his voice, never touched a drop of alcohol. But Derrick was also awkward. Socially, he had a stutter when he got nervous. He rarely made eye contact, and he looked, well, off, kind of gaunt, always hunched, big wireframe glasses that screamed 1998. So when Chloe said it was him and pointed directly at his staff photo, no one asked questions. News spread fast. Within hours, Chloe's friends were posting filtered selfies with tearful captions like, "I'm so proud of you for speaking out #Justice for Chloe." By noon, a TikTok with Chloe lip-syncing to a song about survival had over 700,000 views. People posted screenshots of Derrick's Facebook, which hadn't been updated in 3 years. Reddit threads popped up titled, "This monster worked at MY campus. He never stood a chance." Police pick him up at work that same day. No warning, no lawyer, just handcuffs, bright lights, and a dozen eyes watching him walk through the back door of the precinct. He told them he didn't know what was going on, that he barely spoke to students, that he'd been on the other side of the building all night. But Chloe's story was detailed, emotional, convincing. And Derrick? He was just weird. Detective Lisa Brenner wasn't the kind of cop who cried during victim interviews. 20 years on the job had trained her to smell lies from across the room. She didn't say anything at first, just let Chloe talk. But something wasn't adding up. Chloe said she ran straight to the police station. Yet her phone log showed she texted 3 friends first, one of them saying, "I think I should report this. I'll get him fired, right?" Her injuries? Minor scrapes. No bruising. No DNA. No torn clothing. But she cried. A lot. And kept asking. He's not going to hurt anyone else, right? Red flag after red flag. Still, in the court of public opinion, she was gold. March 4th, less than 48 hours after his arrest, Derrick Tate was found dead in his holding cell. Suicide, they said. He'd hung himself with a ripped bedsheet. No note, no call to his mother, no statement, just gone. And Chloe? She posted a black square to her Instagram with a caption that said, "Rest in hell." But here's what no one knew. At least not yet. Chloe wasn't just lying. She'd done this before. In high school, in freshman year, in anonymous Tumblr posts that got taken down. Always a tearful victim. Always a villain in the shadows. But never, not once, had it been real. And now a man was dead, and someone finally was about to call her out. So you're just going to let her get away with it? That's what one of Derrick Tate's co-workers yelled at a press conference 2 days after his death. It was raw, unfiltered, a gut punch in the middle of a town still pretending like justice had been served. The problem was, the lie wasn't just Chloe's anymore. The entire town had bought into it. The school, the cops, the social media mob. Everyone had wanted Derrick to be the monster because it made the story simple. Except nothing about this case was simple. Let's rewind a little. Chloe's original report painted a vivid picture. Laundry room, 2:20 a.m., dim lights, sudden footsteps, a hand over her mouth, whispers, threats, pain, then silence. She said she blacked out afterward, woke up 10 minutes later alone on the cold tile. She claimed he'd taken her phone, but dropped it on the stairs when leaving. She ran barefoot to the police station because she didn't trust campus security. It sounded terrifying, and it hit every checkbox for a textbook assault case, except surveillance footage said otherwise. The dorm had 7 working security cameras. All of them had been reviewed by police in the first 24 hours. 1:58 a.m., Chloe walks into the laundry room, alone. 2:01 a.m., she's seen texting. She's smiling. 2:11 a.m., she leaves. Calm, no signs of distress. 2:17 a.m., she returns, holding a hoodie and a plastic bag. 2:24 a.m., she exits, jogging this time. 2:43 a.m., she enters a precinct breathless and in tears. Derrick, he's never on camera near her. In fact, his key card shows him entering a different building at 2:03 a.m. He clocked in on time, worked his route, didn't deviate once. There were even time-stamped logs of him unclogging a trash chute while Chloe was supposedly being attacked. So, why didn't this clear him immediately? Because Chloe cried in her interviews. Because the school didn't want to be seen as dismissing a woman's report. Because TikTok had already decided Derrick was guilty. And no one wants to be the villain who defends a rapist. Once the story went viral, things escalated fast. TikTok accounts turned Chloe's trauma into content. Twitter threads doxed Derrick's family. YouTube channels called him a predator hiding in plain sight. Some local students even started a fundraiser for Chloe's healing retreat. And when Derrick's death was announced, comments like, "Good, one less rapist." He knew what he did. Chloe, you're so strong for surviving. No one questioned the story, because no one wanted to be the person who said, "Wait, are we sure she's telling the truth?" By day 3, Detective Lisa Brenner was done playing politics. She quietly reopened Chloe's file and started digging. She pulled academic records, student complaints, even Chloe's social media activity. And that's when it all started unraveling. In one of her private locked Instagram accounts, Chloe had posted a story just a week before the alleged assault. Gonna destroy someone's life. They won't even see it coming. Caption, "Karma's a bitch. So am I." At first, it seemed like typical edgy teenage drama. But then another post from months earlier. "Low-key think I'd be a great victim. All eyes on me. Just saying." Detective Brenner took it further, contacting Chloe's former high school principal. Turns out, Chloe had made a sexual assault allegation once before, against a male teacher. Same tearful story, same vague bruises, same viral reaction from classmates. But guess what? The teacher had an ironclad alibi. The school investigated. Nothing came of it. Chloe dropped the case. Quietly, no charges were ever filed. No one talked about it after that. But now, that pattern was starting to look deadly. The coroner's report came in. Yes, Derrick died by suicide. But what no one expected was what they found inside his cell. A list, written in small, shaky handwriting. Just 5 lines. "I didn't touch her. I was working. They won't believe me. Tell my mom I love her. Please prove I didn't do it." It wasn't a confession. It was a plea. Detective Brenner wanted to reopen the case officially, but the DA was skittish. It's a bad look, they said. The school board was panicking behind closed doors. Campus groups were already planning vigils for Chloe as a survivor of trauma and media harassment. Even other officers were whispering behind her back, "Just drop it. He's dead anyway." But Lisa didn't. She pulled phone records, message logs, security data. She tracked Chloe's exact route to the precinct and compared it to timestamps. She even got a warrant to search Chloe's dorm room. What she found, a handwritten script, half burned in the trash. It was titled, "My Statement Practice Version." In it, she wrote out nearly word for word the story she gave to police. Line by line, the fake panic, the dramatic quote, "I thought I was going to die." The emotional trigger words, "Held me down, I couldn't breathe, he smelled like bleach." It wasn't a memory. It was a performance. Detective Brenner called Chloe in, not to accuse her, not yet. She simply asked her to retell the story, slowly, clearly, without notes. And Chloe slipped. She said the attack happened at 2:10 a.m. Then, 2 minutes later, she said 2:30. She said Derrick smelled like pine. Then later, bleach. She said he wore gloves. Then said he had scratch marks on his hand. Lisa didn't flinch. She just nodded, wrote it all down. Then she asked, "Did you rehearse this before coming in that night?" Chloe froze for just a second, then gave a slight, nervous laugh. "No, why would I?" But Detective Brenner wasn't laughing. She had the evidence, the timeline, the contradictions, the script, and now, finally, she had a plan. The next time Chloe sat down across from her, it wouldn't be as a victim. It would be as a suspect in a death investigation. When Chloe Morris walked into the interview room on March 12th, she thought it was just another check-in, another round of sympathy, another chance to say, "I'm doing okay. Thank you for believing me." But this time, the energy was off. Detective Lisa Brenner wasn't her usual calm, measured self. She was ice cold. Two other officers sat in the corner, silent, expressionless. Chloe sat, crossed her legs, smiled nervously. Then Detective Brenner slid a photo across the table. Burnt edges, handwritten words. "My Statement Practice Version." Chloe blinked, then said the words that changed everything. "That's not mine." Lisa didn't respond. She pulled out the second page, the one with the underlined phrases and stage directions. "Pause here for effect. Make sure I cry here. Say, he pinned me. Use paralyzed with fear." And underneath it, the kicker, "This will ruin him. He deserves it." The handwriting matched Chloe's class notes. A forensic analyst confirmed it. Lisa leaned in, calm, controlled. "Chloe, this isn't a victim statement. This is a script. You rehearsed a lie, and now a man is dead. This isn't a game anymore." Chloe's mask shattered for a second. Lips quivered, tears welled. But she didn't break. Over the next 3 hours, Chloe tried everything to wriggle out of it. I was confused. I felt unsafe, even if nothing physical happened. You don't understand how he made me feel. It's not my fault if people overreacted. But the room didn't flinch. They showed her Derrick's time-stamped work logs, the surveillance footage, the TikTok she posted afterward. One she deleted once public opinion got too intense. They asked why she told friends days before, "I'm going to take him down." Eventually, Chloe gave the closest thing to a confession she ever would. He was creepy. I didn't feel safe around him. I wanted people to take me seriously for once. And then, I didn't know he'd kill himself. Silence. This was supposed to be a warning. Not this. March 15th. Chloe Morris was arrested for filing a false report, perjury, and involuntary manslaughter. The manslaughter charge? That one was tricky. But prosecutors argued that Chloe's malicious, fabricated accusation directly led to Derrick's death. And they had receipts. When news of her arrest broke, it was like watching a reverse avalanche. All the people who had once said, "I stand with Chloe," suddenly vanished. TikToks disappeared. Tweets were deleted. Influencers posted vague apologies. But the damage was done. By summer, the case had gripped the nation. Cable news ran special segments titled "The Lie That Killed a Man." True crime podcasts couldn't get enough of it. One influencer even made merch that said asterisk, "Believe real victims." The prosecution built a brutal case. Chloe had motive, resentment, a thirst for attention, and a history of manipulative behavior. She had means, scripted a believable lie, exploited public outrage, and used social media to fuel it. And most damning of all, she had intent. She wanted Derrick fired, humiliated, destroyed. Chloe's defense? She was emotionally unstable. They painted her as a girl struggling with trauma, who blurred reality and fiction in her mind. They said she never meant to cause a death, that she was a victim of the internet. 2. The jury didn't buy it. After 6 days of testimony and 10 hours of deliberation, guilty on all counts. Sentencing came 2 months later. 10 years for involuntary manslaughter, 5 years for perjury, 2 years for filing a false report, eligible for parole in 8. Chloe didn't cry in court, didn't apologize to Derrick's family, just stared straight ahead, like she was still trying to control the narrative in her head. His mother, Angela Tate, gave a statement outside the courthouse. "My son wasn't perfect, but he was good. He was kind, and Chloe took that from us." With one lie, just one, she held up Derrick's note from the cell, laminated and worn from being folded and unfolded 1,000 times. "This is all I have left, just 5 lines." That's his whole ending. Some of them faced backlash for jumping the gun. One influencer was sued for defamation by Derrick's family after calling him a known predator in a live stream. Others just disappeared from the internet entirely. A few posted half-hearted apologies like, "We believe what we were told, but we should have waited for facts. We're sorry." But it fell hollow. Too late. The damage wasn't just digital. It was fatal. Even after the truth came out, some people still refuse to fully turn on Chloe. She made a mistake. One student said, "She didn't kill him. He chose to do that." But others weren't so forgiving. St. Helene College saw a drop in enrollment. A petition demanded mandatory background checks on faculty, which made no sense, considering Derrick had been innocent. But facts didn't matter anymore. The lie had done its work. So here we are, one fabricated accusation, one dead man, one broken community, and one girl who wanted to feel important. You want to know the scariest part? Chloe isn't some cartoon villain. She's not a serial killer. She's not a mastermind. She's normal. That's what makes this story terrifying. Because anyone who craves attention badly enough, who sees truth as flexible and consequences optional, can become the villain in someone else's life. And sometimes, that's all it takes to destroy someone completely. Final haunting question. If Derrick hadn't died, would anyone have believed him? Let that sink in. The True Crime Diary. Subscribe for more haunting stories from the darkest corners of the internet.